So, guten Morgen, vielen Dank für das Kommen. Ich werde weiter Englisch reden, weil wir haben auch eine Live-Übertragung im Internet. Das ist die Kamera hier und wir haben schon einige Leute von überall, von verschiedenen Ländern, so die sprechen kein Deutsch. Aber wenn etwas nicht klar ist, ich erkläre ganz gerne nach dem Konzert auf Deutsch wieder. So, good morning everyone, good morning our online visitors. Thank you for coming. Today we remember my teacher, my guru, the great sitar maestro Ravi Shankar. This is his photo. He passed away exactly today on 11th of December 2012, and today is exactly 10 years. So we thought to organize concerts yesterday and today to remember him. When it happened, I was in India, in Calcutta, and I remember that very sad day when we got the news. So since then, every year, I organize concerts in December in his memory. Now we will play Indian classical music on these beautiful instruments which are called sitar and tabla. And I'm very happy to have my friend and colleague Gerard Rosner again with me on tabla. We play since more than 20 years together in Austria. Gerard is playing tabla since 30 years and he got many degrees. He learned from great maestros in India. So Indian classical music is very interesting format when we don't have fixed notes, we don't have anything written down, we don't have anything memorized and learned by heart. We improvise. We create music on the spot when we play. This is how Indian music is performed. It's a creative art. When musician is also a composer in the same moment and also a performer in the same moment. So this is what we are going to do now. And it's very easy to compare it to a language. This is my favorite way to explain Indian music. What I talk now, it's also improvised. I didn't prepare a speech on the paper. I just say what I feel like at the moment. So exactly the same as our music. We improvise. And as I speak, I also have to follow the rules of the language which I choose, now in English, for example. Same in our music, there are rules and traditional elements which are very strict. And we learned them many years in India from our teacher. And two most important rules we know as raga and tala. So raga is a melody form which I play on the sitar. There are hundreds of possible ragas. They were created during the history of Indian music. Each raga has a name. It has ascending and descending scale, which we have to follow. It has two important notes. It has less important notes. It has forbidden notes. It has typical phrases, like in the language there are sentences. So we have typical phrasing in the raga, which we have to keep the order of the notes. That's what also we learn from our teachers. And each raga has a time of the day, or even some of them, they have season of the year, which they're supposed to be performed. So we talk about morning ragas, evening ragas, or spring ragas, autumn ragas, rainy season, and so on. So this is the connection of our music to nature, to sun, to the seasons of the year. It goes back very long time. So this is about raga, which I'm going to follow that format. And then there is a rhythmical rule which is very useful when we play two people or more because we are improvising, so there should be something which keeps us together, and this is called tala. Tala is a rhythmic cycle which is going like a clock in the cycles, and it has a fixed amount of beats. There are many talas, same like ragas. These are traditional things which we learn, and people who are educated, they know very well the tala. So tala can have any amount of beats between 5 to 16. We choose one cycle, one number, and we stay in that cycle throughout our improvising. And inside there are also divisions in the numbers, so which we also know. So that helps us to give the accent or to meet on beat number 1 on the first beat of the cycle. You will see many times how we communicate and meeting. Our improvising is coming to that beat. So that's the first beat of the cycle. So this is what keeps us together in time and in rhythm. And otherwise, all the rest is free and open. So we will try to express our feeling and emotion through the language of raga and tala. I will begin with the beautiful raga, which was created by Ravi Shankar. He created quite a few, by around 50 beautiful ragas, very special. So today I'm going to play 4 ragas which are created by him, all morning ragas, morning melodies. So I will start with the short introduction, beautiful raga called Bairagi. That's the name. I will play a little bit alone, little solo, completely freely improvise, very meditative and slow, to show you the color of this raga as I feel it. And then we will improvise with Gerard on the rhythmical cycle of 16 beats. This is the most popular rhythm in India, divided 4-4-4-4, very simple. It's called Tin Tal, 16 beat, Raga Bairagi. see our instruments, they need a lot of attention, a lot of love, and a lot of tuning, because sitar has many strings. I will explain later about this also, and we have to retune many strings between the pieces, and even the tabla has to be tuned with the hammer exactly to the main note of my raga, which is now D. So that's why it takes little time. But in India, we see it as also tuning our mind for the next raga, for the next diving into a different color. By listening to ragas like this one after another, one can understand better what is a raga. Now you will hear completely different color, different melody, and our music is more about going into a certain state of mind, like coloring the mind. Even the name raga, translated directly, literally from Sanskrit, as that which colors the mind. So it's not so much about playing beautiful tunes or showing the speed or something like that. It's more about color, about state of mind, like meditation, you can say. So for this, it's even nice to have these little longer breaks, not to start immediately with the next one. So maybe that's why they planned it like this in India, that the instruments are so complicated that we need to spend a lot of time tuning. In Europe, sometimes people are surprised because here it's like the gap between the pieces is maybe a few seconds, and we need minutes to. So that's the philosophy. Now I will continue with the next raga, which is another beautiful creation of my guru, of Ravi Shankar, which is called Raga Parameshwari. It's a morning raga. I will again play a long little introduction. We call it alap. That's the classical, traditional Indian introduction of the raga, which is played only on the melody instrument. And then we will improvise again with Gerard on tabla on the very interesting rhythmic cycle. This time it will be 10 beats. We decided like this. And 10 we divide in our mind into 5 plus 5. And 5 we divide into 2 plus 3. So the actual rhythmical pattern which goes on in our heart when we play is 2, 3, 2, 3. These are the mathematics. And we are trying to create music on that pattern together. Raga Parameshwari. before we play the next part, I wanted to tell you a few words about this beautiful instrument, sitar. So, sitar originally comes from Persia. Even today in Iran, there is an instrument which is called sitar with E. This is sitar. So, it's a little tiny instrument which is played in Iran. Even in Vienna, I have few friends who play sitar from Iran, and that's the forefather of Indian sitar. When Persians came to India in medieval time, they brought their culture, their language, their music, and their instruments, and that Persian sitar got mixed with Indian ancient instrument which is called veena, and that way the sitar was born around 700 years ago. And today I think it's one of the most popular instruments of India, thanks to my guru and to all the pop and rock culture of the 60s and the 70s, the Beatles, all the bands who used the sitar. It became suddenly a trend because he brought it to the international scene. So today everybody knows sitar, but in India there are so many more beautiful instruments. So this is about the history. The construction of the sitar is very interesting. This resonator here, this is a pumpkin. It's a cubis, vegetable, and the rest is made out of wood. And many people ask, what is this? This another round thing here. This is another resonator, and it's also empty inside, also hollow, so it gives additional sound. And what is really interesting, that it is located in such a way that the player's head is exactly between these two resonators. So it's more for the player, like to get the stereo effect of the instrument, and it feels like you are sitting inside the instrument when you have your head between the resonators. Very special sound. This also shows the original philosophy and the purpose of Indian music, which was not so much to play concerts, but it was also used for spiritual practice, for spiritual development. When people do it alone, not in the group, but just somewhere far away in the Himalaya or in the remote place, one person would play and go into, as I said, certain state of mind, finding some spiritual peace of mind, we can say. And that's why the construction is like this, that is oriented for the player to listen to all these beautiful vibrations and overtones. That's why this extra resonator here. And sitar has 7 strings. These are the 7 big pegs here, which I'm tuning. And they are running over this white bridge here. This is the heart of the sitar. It's made of horn, deer horn. And it is constructed in such a way, they file it with the sandpaper, so that there is a little gap, like a hair, between the strings and the bridge. So when I pluck the string, it's vibrating and it hits that gap, and it creates this buzzing effect, this which opens up all the overtones and makes the sound a little bit longer. So that's the typical sitar tone. It comes from the bridge. So these are the 7 main playing strings, and you can see also here these little pegs all along the neck, which are 13, and these are the resonating strings. They are running in the next layer under the main strings inside. This is this little white bridge here, and sometimes you can hear we do like this. That's the like harp, like resonating strings. So, but they are not here for this, they are for resonating. So when I play the main notes on the main strings, the resonating strings answer, like echo, and that creates another special effect, which is like reverb, like Hall effect of the sitar, which is done mechanically. Very interesting idea. And for every piece, for every raga or scale, I have to retune them, and I'm trying to choose the ragas as different as possible so that you don't feel bored. So that's why I have to retune quite a lot of these little strings. That's what you see all the time I'm doing between the pieces, because they have to be tuned exactly to every note of the scale or the raga so that they answer. This is a very unique system of sound production. This is about construction. Now a little bit about the technique of playing. I'm wearing on my index finger this little metal thing. This is called mizrab. It's like a plectrum with which I play. It's very hard, very tight, has to be like part of the finger. And that produces this loud metallic sound. And with the left hand we press here like guitar. What is really unique on sitar is that we play not only this way, but as you saw, I pull a lot. I do a lot of bending. That's why there is so much space here free between the last string or the first string and the end of the neck. So we can pull up to 4 or 5 notes by bending. And why this is important? Because the nature of our music is vocal. It started like 2,000 or 3,000 years ago when there were no sitars, no instruments. So people used to sing the ragas, and the whole foundation and the principles of music are all singing. So later when they built instruments, they made a construction in such a way that we can copy singing. And this bending, this round movement between the notes will remind us of Indian style of singing when we slide between the notes in that peculiar way. And also this sliding reminds us about sounds of nature, like the voices of animals, like a cat, or birds, or sound of wind, sound of water. Most of the sounds in nature are round. There are no steps like on piano. So that way sitar also can copy a little bit the natural sounds, and that's why it's so touching when we hear this bending. And it can touch anyone, not only in India, but all over the world, because nature is everywhere. Everywhere there are animals, wind, water, so people's heart, people's soul reacts to these sounds. That's why this is very important elements of our music. So this is more or less about sitar, and now I continue with the next piece, which is a morning raga. Though it's not morning anymore, it's 12, but on Sunday it can be morning. A beautiful morning raga called Nat Bhairav, another nice creation of my guru, Pandit Ravi Shankar. I will again play this typical introduction alone, and then we will improvise with Gerard on the 16-beat cycle. We call it Tintal, very slow tempo, then medium and fast. Raga Nat Bhairav. Absolutely, yeah. In the next, between the ragas.
No, as in what it's based.
Yes, we will explain that. We have 2 more ragas, so I was planning also that I don't talk too long. We make little music, then talking. Tabla is also amazing, unique instrument.
say some few words.
Say a little bit about tabla.
Yeah, the origin of tabla is not really known. But we can say it's at least 500 years old, the instrument. Some people or researchers would even say it's 2000 years. They have seen some paintings in caves where they have seen drum pairs. But these caves paintings are not so exactly that you can say it's really tabla. But for sure, at this time, that was existing like pairs. You play a drum set, you always play them together, never single. So anyway, but the repertoire we have is very well documented, you can say, the last 300 years. And let's say the popularity of tabla arose like 300 years ago when the Khyal singing, it's a singing style, vocal style, was established more and more. So Khyal was taking over the part of Dhrupad. Before Dhrupad was very popular. Now Dhrupad is still existent, but not that popular. And the drum which was before the tabla was the pakaraj, which was used for Dhrupad. But this showed it was not so fine for Khyal singing because it had a more refined style. And so this drum set is not so powerful than pakaraj, but it is very subtle and you can give very fine nuances. So that's why this instrument got more and more used for Khyal singing, and then it emerged by itself also as a solo instrument. But this was this is only popular like 50 years with Saki Susin, who brought the tabla all over the world. Yeah, you have seen it, just few words. The speciality in comparison to many drums is maybe this black point which you see, which is called chiai. It's a mixture of rice powder, glue, and iron powder. So rice, iron powder, and the glue. And it's somehow a little bit secret how to make it. The famous company Remo, they tried to make tabla, they make many ethnic drums, if you can say like this, but they were not able to produce tablas because of the skin. So with the plastic skin, they could not really make it. So this is a little bit a secret, and it's also very delicate because some parts go out, and with the powder it gets humid, and it's very sensitive. Too many influences. But this is the specialty, and we have like 5-6 different sounds, completely different sounds on the right drum, and here basically 2 sounds and some modulation. And combined with this, we have this language for it, syllables like ta. It's a combination of 2 drums, ta, only this, or ge, only this. So each syllable says us what to do with each hand. Like tatite, 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 tatitikite, tatitikite taka, tatitikite taka, titikite, and so you can, with the language, we'll learn with the language first, and then we'll learn to play. The repertoire the drum is not so old, maybe 500 years. But the repertoire is much older because a lot of previous drums we took over the repertoire, and so it's a very rich repertoire. We have thousands of compositions, and also there is, similar to the development of a raga, we also learn a lot of compositions. We learn a theme and we make improvise on it and make free variations. This is our main stuff, but we have also fixed compositions which are given over the centuries. Yeah, I think that's basically some basics.
What is really interesting, I can also add that this language of, maybe you can demonstrate 1 or 2, like each stroke on tabla has a name, which is similar the sound of the stroke.
Yeah, we call it onomatopoetic syllables, loud nachahmend. Like we have
If you-
Tagena, tagetina, no, it's Tagena, tagatina, gena. Like this, or tatite, tada, titte, tagetina is a completely different language. And so, in this way, we imitate the sounds we speak. Kredet da gena tuna. I spoke it not well and also don't speak it well. So this language we have, sometimes if you see a tabla solo, no, we are presenting the compositions by voice first and then we play it.
And even for
Right.
learning, what I was really fascinated, because to play sitar, we also have to understand tabla. It's together. So my guru, long time ago, he told me to learn tabla, and he taught me everything by voice. So for learning also, it's very interesting format when we speak a lot. Like like this. So it becomes very vocal, and you can practice this everywhere. It's like beatbox, a lot of fun, and it makes you very strong because when you speak, your hands are free and you can clap the beats. So you develop a very strong sense of rhythm, very unique system. So
You can learn a lot without instrument itself.
Exactly.
That's the really nice thing also. We can clap the thala, no? Like we clap all these talas. I'm not warmed up, I need a water somehow, but anyway.
I bring a glass of water.
You can. So, sorry?
The words that we use, they are Sanskrit? Is that in Sanskrit?
It's not Sanskrit, it has no meaning, it has no semantic meaning, it has only aesthetic meaning, and it's, as I told, it's the purpose is to imitate the sound, so it's onomatopoeic syllables, and also the teaching is going like this, like we
And I've seen the use of this language also in Indian classical dance. So classical dance will use
they have also, they use also,
That's different as well.
they use this language and they use additional language also.
In dance, every movement has a name. Ta, 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 I don't know exactly, but also the movement of the legs. So they use these names for the dance. And this is a language which has a name of the stroke on the tabla. So dancers also know this, but also they have their own movement language. In India, everything they call by name and then they speak that. Even on sitar, the strokes have names. We have only three, like da, ra, and chik. So we combine da 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 da. So we can express our movement by voice. Same do the dancers and the percussionists.
What is very typical for tabla is we have this kind of symmetry when we play. We play like the same stuff twice, but the second time we change the baya, like first line and second time. So what is played with the bass is played without bass. It's a kind of symmetry. You have it in many Indian art forms. Like in dance, you dance left and then you dance the same right. Or even in paintings, you find this kind of symmetry. It's very unique, and also this system, Barikari, it's unique to this drum. And this makes it you can make like a poem, like it's everybody can hear it, it's very similar, but it's something is different. And that you can make really, and also what is very special in it is the sustain, no? We play how long the sound is. That's why we can play this very, very slow. We played before like 1, 2, 3. We played before this until until 16, 5, and so on. If this would be a usual drum, it would make this 1, 2. If there is no sustain, it's
Boring, yeah.
it's boring. So this makes it very unique, and also the modulation possibilities you have.
That's the melody, like melody instrument.
It's such a simple instrument. I mean, if you see the construction, even the tuning is so simple made, but you can really tune on cent accuracy, completely accurate. So it's same like sitar. It's very primitive if you compare it with Western instruments in the mechanic and everything, but it's so accurate in its way, in its simplicity, so accurate. So this is really special.
And the melody part of the drum is just, when I heard it first time, I couldn't believe it. It sounds like guitar, like bass guitar. The left hand, what Gerard can do, the modulation, some maestros, they can tune it to the notes and they can really play a melody like a double bass, like contrabass. Even there was one story, there was one legendary tabla player, Ustad Zakir Hussain. He was performing in Calcutta and he played with another artist who had a birthday on that day. And someone from the audience shouted, "Hey, happy birthday." And the tabla player said, "This is your birthday?" So yeah, so he played on the drum, like this, yeah. And it was like clapping for 5 minutes, yeah. So they can produce melody.
But it's a game. It's not intended for it, it's a game.
Yeah, it's like a gimmick, like a show. But still, unique thing that they can make melody even together with the melody instrument, very supportive. Not just percussion, but also there is a tone, musical tone, like singing.
And one last question. Did Panditji and Ustad ever perform together?
Who Ustad and who Panditji?
Pandit Ravi Shankar and Ustad Zakir Hussain.
Oh, thousands of them. So many recordings, yes.
Okay.
Because he used to play with his father, Ustad Ala Rakha.
Yes, correct.
So they did it for decades in the 60s, and then Zakir Hussain grew up, so they also performed. It's like his own son, almost. There are so many concerts. He actually made Zakir Hussain very famous.
Right.
He told in many interviews. We are lucky to have all these gurus and to interact with them. He was in Vienna like 1 month ago. So I will play now the last raga, a very short piece. It is based on a raga called Bhairavi. This is the typical ending piece in the concert. It's a very special raga, very special mood. So in India they say that you can perform this raga only in the end, because after that nothing much can be done. And also if you are, sometimes there are few artists in one concert, so you are allowed to play this raga only if you are last. If someone is after you, that will be very difficult for that person to bring out some color. So raga Bhairavi, and we will try to play the melody. It's a little bit more like a folk style, we call it dhoon, which is on the cycle of 6-beat, we call it dadra, 6-beat cycle, raga Bhairavi. thank you very much. We will end here. We can play more, but we should keep something for next time. And next time will be almost in 1 month. We already fixed 14, 15 January. We are trying to do it every month here in our little center for Indian music. So it's again Saturday, Sunday. It will be the first concert in the 2023. So little celebration of the new year. 14, 15 January, same evening, morning. So completely different music, different ragas. So if you're interested, you can come. You can also leave your email address on the page. There is a little paper at the entrance, so we can send you more information about our concert. This is the best format to play our music. This is how it was played since hundreds of years in India, in small chamber concert gatherings, because this is the best way to go deep, to feel something, to feel the people. Because as I said, we are improvising, so it's important for us, your feeling, to see you, to get your energy. Same like when I'm talking, if I see that people are listening, it's inspiring me to talk. If I talk and nobody listens, then same with our music. When I hear, when I see you, I feel you, I'm more inspired, and Gerard also. So that's why small room is very good. That's why I started this center 5 years ago. I play also many big concerts where there are 100 people, 500, but this is different. Then I don't see anyone. I'm alone. So that's nice that you come here, and thank you for your support. And I thank to the camera, our online, there is still quite a few people from many countries, from India, Russia, Germany, I see people comment, some students and friends. Thank you very much for being with us. Come again, and thank you also. Please come again. Bye. Jetzt verabschieden wir von unseren Zuschauern.